So today we're going to be replacing my mom's water spigot. I should have replaced it a while ago. I've looked at it, and the water spigot chamber is actually expanded because my parents forgot to take the hose off for the winter. So we're going to Menards to go pick up some water spigots. I don't know what size it is. It's either an 8-inch, a 10-inch, or a 12-inch. So I'm just going to pick them all up and return what I'm not going to use. So I'm not going to the hardware store a million times. Okay, so this is the culprit right here. See how it's expanded? So all I'm going to do is desolder this, pull it back outside, and I've already checked if there's screws. There's no screws into the building. That was barely even soldered on.
Really? Well, it's probably been like that for 20 years that I've been here.
Okay, so this is the water spigot I pulled out. Probably the original from the house. You can see how it's expanded right there. So all I did was I bought 3 from the store to make sure I had the right size. Just match it right up. And it's the same size. So I'm just gonna stick it through that hole right there. Once I get in there, I'm gonna get it ready to solder. Before we start soldering, we have to take out the guts out of the new ones so we won't melt them when we're soldering. Because the seals are right here where we have to solder. Take the handle off. Then you just have to take the packing nut off. That wasn't on there that tight at all. Now it's all empty and we're clear to solder. I'm gonna go out there and then screw the new spigot in so it'll be straight when I actually solder it. So the good thing is that I was able to screw this in because I have so much movement in the pipe. Now I can just clean up the pipe and get ready for solder. And stick it right in when I'm ready. So take a brush, score up the new spigot. so the solder has something to grab onto. And then you want to clean up the other end where the pipe is. There's some solder left over on it, so we'll try to sand some of that off. Use some cloth, sanding cloth. And make sure it's nice and clean, or the solder won't stick. Then I like to wipe all the dust off after I get done sanding with a paper towel. And now it's time for flux. We want to flux both sides of the pipe. And when you're soldering, this is gonna be a little bit harder to solder because the metal is so thick on the spigot. So you have to be careful so you make sure you have a good solder joint. So I like to warm up the copper first, and then I start heating up the spigot. You want to heat it from the bottom because heat rises. You'll know when it's time to solder when the solder will start going to it, sticking to it. Like to wipe it off. There's a nice finish on it. Just for cosmetic purposes. And that should be it. We're just gonna have to assemble the water spigot, and then we'll test for leaks. After the pipe is cooled down, we can put the internals back in. Sorry about that, that's the air conditioner. Then you want to put the packing nut back on. Then you want to put the handle on. I forgot to mention, you have to make sure you shut off the water before you start this project, or you're gonna have water everywhere. And so now we're gonna test for leaks. So we're gonna turn the water back on. So I turned the water back on and we're testing for leaks. And everything looks dry. Looks and feels dry. And that's a wrap. That's how you do it.